everybody, it's your girl TeaRon and Janee. I'm back. Hey.
And Tiera.
Yes.
Let me just say to you, I want to thank you for finding a space for us to be able to get together and record our ridiculous movie reviews that 5 people will enjoy. What? That's a solid 5. But I say that to say this.
I don't like it.
To all 5 of you watching.
I don't like it. Cut it.
What?
No, we are manifesting. Cut it.
Okay. We know it's more than 5.
We're manifesting.
It's more than 5.
Yes.
All 515.2 of you.
That's what I'm talking
whoever
about.
the half is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or is it 0.5?
That's okay. Just roll.
That's fine. All of us who are watching this, just remember that after this review,
yes,
you will be like, I was there when, because this review that we are going to get into today is wild. And I'm going to be wild to match the wildness of this movie.
Ooh.
First things first.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited. I'm very excited to talk about this with you, of all people. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
But I do want to say this.
Yes.
On the record.
Okay.
Do I really even know you? Like, y'all. So, okay. So we were coming up with a list of movies and shows to review, right? And one of the big things is we want to find TV shows and movies that are not exactly like popular, right? Everybody talks about the popular stuff, but we want to talk about Black films that are not as popular, right? They may be a bit lesser known films, which is fine because a lot of them can still be great movies. This one that we're going to get into was actually really good.
Yeah.
But it has a subject matter that made me be like, why did Tiera tell me to watch this? Like, I had to say to myself, who do you think I am? You know, that's where I was at with it. Tiera, you like, okay, I'll give you this. You did like, Tiera was like, y'all, I'm gonna watch this movie, but don't watch it with your mama. That was the only. Now, here's the thing. My mama cool, right? She's like, whatever. She knows all the things. But but you were right on the money. Like, yeah, don't watch this with your mama. And I should have taken heed to that because I was like, my mama don't care. Like, we watch all kinds of silly stuff all the time. Now, my mama will not watch 90 Day Fiance with me. She'd be like, look.
Smart woman.
She'd be like, look, oh, no, not these people. But for some reason, it could be any iteration of that show.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but she'll still know that it's that somehow. Somehow she'll still know.
She ain't with it. She ain't with it.
So she won't watch that with me. And I'm glad I did not watch this with her.
Listen,
but you could have gave me more than that.
No, I felt like that was enough. I didn't want to give you too much, but I felt like that was enough because I know you tend to watch.
Did your mama watch it?
She absolutely did not. Now after she watches this, she'll be like, "Oh, I should probably watch it because she got my Hulu password."
Hey, Ma, watch this movie.
No, Mama, do not
watch this movie.
No, so I know you tend to watch movies with your mother, so I wanted to preface that, like, hey, this is not a family-friendly film.
Y'all, let me tell y'all. I was watching this movie in the dark on my laptop.
I bet. Woo!
Like I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's get into it because we keep saying this movie, and I know we got everybody on the edge of their seats.
Tell us. Well, let's do this. Read the synopsis of the movie first, and then give them the title. Do it in reverse.
I like a little suspense.
Yeah.
All right, so sexually awkward. Stacey.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
You see how he do?
You know what's crazy?
Yes.
They'll just see the title of the video or the title of the episode, and they'll know what we're talking about.
It's true. Cut that.
Anyway, we're still gonna do it like that. We're gonna assume that you didn't look at the title. Let's do it.
So we will go ahead and go over the synopsis.
Yes.
All right. So sexually awkward Stacey Johnson decides to take control of her life, cancel her ex, and conquer her fears by having a threesome with her new beau and a mysterious woman she's never met. What could possibly go wrong? And as you already know, because you see the title of our video, the title of the film is called 3 Ways.
3 Ways. Now, the title is actually more clever than it lets on. It's called 3 Ways because of a threesome, but at the same time, it's also called 3 Ways because you're getting a non-linear story that's told from 3 different points of view.
Yeah.
From 3 different people in a threesome for 3 different reasons.
Yes.
I might have to play the triple threes.
Yes. Or the triple X. Okay.
Who directed this movie?
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So it was directed and written by Jamal Dado, starring a couple of people that you may have seen before, which I really appreciated.
Really?
So, yeah, Andrea Lewis. For all of you who have watched Degrassi back in the day,
who did she play?
She was the main character.
Stacey.
She started Degrassi.
Let me say this.
Hazel. Y'all who know Hazel from Degrassi. That's who that was.
That's who she is. Mm-hmm. Let me say this.
Yeah.
You know, people be like, oh, Degrassi. Oh, Drake was on Degrassi and stuff.
This accent.
I literally have never seen Degrassi. To me, y'all just started talking about Degrassi, and I'm like, I never remember anybody saying the word Degrassi when I was like growing up. I'd never heard the word, but also I didn't have cable. So was it on Nickelodeon or something?
So no, and also I too did not grow up with Degrassi. My little brother, who's a couple years younger, watched Degrassi, and that's how I knew Degrassi. And I remember one summer.
What channel was it on?
We got our parents had gotten a different cable package, child. We was moving on up, and it had all these extra channels on there, and it was like a Canadian channel. I can't remember the channel.
So Degrassi is Canadian?
It's a Canadian show. Yeah. So I had never heard of it.
The sense is now making.
And that summer, we got those channels. My brother watched like a marathon. So he watched all the season. I remember it being a thing, like Degrassi. And I was like, at this point, I was pretty much grown at this point. I was like, college age at this point. So I wasn't really into it, but like I would walk past the TV. I knew it was on.
You knew enough to know who she was.
Yes. And then when Drake became Drake, I was like, wait, ain't that homie from Degrassi? So,
well, you know what's crazy? See, well, first of all,
yes.
before we go further,
yes.
Let me let you check out the trailer for 3 Ways, and then we're going to
introduce the rest of the cast.
Yes.
A black man walked up to you and hit on you in a bookstore?
Yes.
I'm Justin.
Stacy.
Is he 80?
No.
We can just bring a relief pitcher in, sit her right over there.
He just suggested a threesome, didn't he?
It is something I've always thought I would do with someone special.
I think we should have a threesome.
To a wonderful night.
Hey.
She is a high school friend.
1, 2, 3. Threesome, you seen the movie with?
I'm ready.
She's just a dressing.
And you're the turkey. Enjoy the stuffing.
I was giving credit because I was like, oh, these are all like new faces, and I was like, wow, they're doing. But this. I was going to message you and tell you this information, but I wanted to wait.
I did everything to not message you.
Yeah, it took a lot for me to not. So okay.
Yes.
So let's introduce the rest of the cast. So who's the rest of the cast? The main cast.
So the rest of the main characters, we have Brittany S. Hall, which if you watch
that's Lorraine.
That's Lorraine, yes. And if
Lorraine,
you watch this, she may look okay. She was I ain't gonna speak for y'all. She was very familiar to me, and it was one of those faces the whole time. I'm like, why do I know her? Why do I know her? So I had to do my Googles. She was on Real Chance of Love back in the day. And she was one of the contestants. And I think her name on the show was Hot Wings.
It's just funny. You're cute. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Come on, screw in the house for a minute.
Okay.
So me and the Hot Wings are outside chopping it up, and you know what, bro? I feel so good about her, man. Our connection is strong tonight. I really like this girl.
Not hot.
This is what the Googles are telling
It's
you. But
coming back to me.
yeah, she was one of the girls on Real Chance at Love, and baby, I couldn't have picked that if I could have. But yeah, Google let me know that that's where she's from. Yeah. But it was like, I was like, I know this woman. I know her face. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One person, the only person. Well, I recognize two people. Go ahead with the others.
Well, it has three, but I'm gonna say we'll save one more.
Yeah.
The main male character, his name is Jerrel O'Neal.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
This is what I was waiting to tell you.
Uh-huh.
I actually recognized immediately Jerrel O'Neal.
Really?
Yes, and I want to say this
From the streets?
Not from the streets.
Oh, okay.
No, just from.
Don't say Jerrel.
yeah. That's my boy. No, Jerrel is like. I've only seen two things he's been in, that and this, and I'm like, you are setting a like precedent for being in wild films, bro.
What you're saying, like sexualized.
Well, that and it, but just like wild films.
Maybe that's enjoyable to him, playing those kinds of characters.
But this in 3 ways came off a lot better. But I do want to put you through the stress of watching Stolen Breath because it is a movie.
We'll see about that. Back to 3 ways. And then I just want to give honorable mention to another cast member, more of a supporting cast member, Miss Takara Jones.
AKA Takara.
Takara, okay?
AKA
we love her.
Big Titty Takara.
AKA the baddie since forever, Takara from Top Model.
I was when she came up on screen, I immediately recognized her
of course.
But I was so happy to see her.
Me too. I was so happy to see her, and like I'm not even gonna say almost. She was definitely a scene stealer. I feel like. Yeah. Like she very much was. I was gonna say popping.
Yeah. She was awesome.
She popped on screen.
And the one thing I like that this film did with her was it used. So Stacey is our main character, and Stacey's best friend is what's Takara's character's name?
I don't know.
What she had a name.
What is Takara Jones?
Takara's character. That's what we're gonna call it.
Thank you.
But Stacey's best friend is played by Takara.
Yes.
Okay. And the way that they bring Takara in is to take us in and out of the story. So it's a non-linear story. So it's told, we see what's happening in real time, and then they tie it in by giving us the best friend to show us the stuff that led up to where we are watching right now. But it wasn't done in a way that was like noticeable in terms of like, it wasn't clunky because there are movies out there that they like will try to tell a story in that way, but it doesn't flow that much.
Yeah, what I really liked about it is because it was non-linear, they did a great job of doing it because they didn't do it in like a Groundhog Day kind of thing where they keep telling the same piece of the story over and over. They are giving you 3 different perspectives, but the story progresses.
Exactly.
So I really liked that.
Yeah.
It was very well done in that way.
And that's good writing.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's great writing.
I liked it.
So just to kind of get into it, so pretty much if you or your partner or with whoever, if you ever had a threesome, you know that it can be,
messy.
I don't know.
Messy.
It could be awkward.
Yeah,
it could be a lot going on.
That's what they say.
And this movie explores that. I'm gonna tell you what this movie gave me essences of, and let me know what you think.
Okay.
This movie, to me, reminded me very much of like Booty Call.
Yes, I have it in my notes.
Do you?
Yes.
It gave me very much Booty Call, but people didn't have separate apartments.
It was very in the. So what got me to started watching this one night? I was scrolling through the Hulu.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
I'm getting there.
I'd like to
Scrolling
know
through the
why.
Hulu, looking for something to watch. I think I've said this before. My sleep show was Living Single, but I was like, I want something else to watch. So I saw this and it came up. Of course, it was suggested because you know. So yeah, I watched it. It's billed as a romantic comedy. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I just thought, okay, I love a rom-com. I love to see a black rom-com. So I thought it was kind of like your typical rom-com. I didn't expect what we got, which was great. I was pleasantly surprised. But like you said, while watching it, I definitely got like reminiscent vibes of Booty Call, because you get that there's comedy in it. It's also very messy. It's sexual, but not in an, I mean, it is quite sexual. I was going to say not in an overt way. No, it is, but it's also funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's very hilarious.
Yeah.
In fact, there were a few jokes, even like the slight jokes at the beginning of the film, I thought were really well written. It doesn't ever come off as cheesy, which can happen in a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of times I avoid romantic comedies because they're usually the same old tropes.
That's why I was watching it to go to sleep.
But
initially.
But this, I feel like the writer was definitely a fan of Booty Call because it fits in that realm, right? Sure. Basically, there's a set threesome that's supposed to happen, right? Between Stacey, Lorraine, and Justin, right?
Stacey, this is Lorraine. Lorraine, this is Stacey.
Hi. Hey, sis.
So essentially, Stacey and Justin are a couple. They've agreed that they are together, and
but it's fresh. It's very new. They're like almost still at an awkward phase. Not even almost. They are still at an awkward phase.
Yeah, it's a new relationship, and pretty much Justin likes Stacey. He made it a point to go after her to get with her, right? But they freak levels don't match. Stacey is what would you say? How would you describe her?
I think the word would be vanilla.
She's vanilla. She really shy. She doesn't want to do the things. Justin's like, yo, I want you to
do the things.
He wants oral sex, right? And Stacey's like, oh no, oh, she's very much, oh, I can't. And
is that how she sounds?
No, that's not how she sounds, but that's the way I'm gonna get it across. But no, so they pretty much clash. And when I say clash, this is not a argument. It's not a butting of heads, but it's an internal clash. One thing I found to be quite interesting is that people in relationships where they are not with someone who fully gets them, I think and this movie highlights it perfectly, I think that they keep things to themselves. You know, when people say, oh, we've been married for 30 years, we know everything about each other. He knows my this and that, and she knows all this stuff. You can basically read each other's minds. Mm-hmm. These new relationships aren't like that. And you have a young couple who aren't on the same page at all. But I think the only reason that they're not on the same page is because they aren't being honest.
They're not talking about it.
No. Mm-hmm. So Justin, basically they're trying to be intimate. She's trying to give him oral sex. She doesn't know how to do it, or it's not her thing. Mm-hmm. And so Justin's like, oh, well, what if he kind of slid it in there like, well, what if we just have like a third person in here? And since they are not being honest with each other, I think Stacey has low self-esteem. I think that she's one of those women who, if a guy is just nice, she wants to keep that. Mm-hmm. The movie doesn't go into that, but I'm just trying to kind of give a reasoning behind why she would do what she does. But she basically agrees to do this, but she does it in a way where she's like, and I don't know if you remember this part, she does it in a way where she's like, where she makes it, she wants to feel like it's her idea or that she initiated it.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
she wanted to be in control of that.
Yes.
But at the same time, her inner thoughts, this is another thing too that the movie did cleverly. Mm-hmm. Her inner thoughts were not matching up with what was coming out of her mouth.
Correct.
This goes for each of those main characters.
Yeah.
And I thought that was clever. So
really like that.
when we switch from character to character in this movie, basically everyone has a narration, right? So we start with Stacey. She has her narration, and we only know that we switch angles or we switch characters because the narration changes.
Yes.
All of a sudden, and one scene where we hear Justin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're in his head at this point. And then they tell his story.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to Lorraine. But I'm saying, because I'm all over the place. But let me say this: with couples who are into this kind of thing, for the people that like this kind of thing, that's the kind of thing they like, right? When couples do this, there is that air of you may be more into it than I am. But because I love you, or because I think I love you, or because I want this to work, I'm going to agree to it. I think the movie did a good job of showing that. What do you think?
I agree. I think the movie showed all three characters. Outwardly, they look fine, right? They're good-looking people. They have nice jobs. They seem to be happy in their relationship, or actually in their relationships separately. And they're, they just seem to be regular people. But through the internal monologue that we continue to hear, we hear and see their insecurities. And I think that their insecurities come to the table at the threesome. So it's like almost a foursome, because it's like insecurities and then the three people, you know what I mean? So I thought it was cool to see that. It came together in a funny way.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by like, yes, it's sexual, but there's also that awkwardness and like a little comedy that comes along with it. And I agree with you. I think that comes into play where you have, people are people. And like, so while, yes, somebody may be all the way down for it, it's still a possibility that they're like, I'm apprehensive about this.
Yeah.
But I'm down because my person is down, sort of a thing. And I just wanted to say, I think the timing of this is so funny because I have been watching, I hate to even admit this, on TLC. I know, I hate to admit it, but I'm going to be real. We all family here. We just going to be real. Don't act like you don't watch TLC.
Tell me what you've been watching.
But I've been watching Seeking Brother Husband, which is a very fascinating show. Their setup is not that they have a threesome, but their setup is like, okay, I have to be okay with my wife being with this man and then also being with me when the time comes. So it was just interesting that the timing of all this, me watching Seeking Brother Husband and like being so fascinated, and then watching this, like, oh, people are doing this. And while, yes, I recognize that this is entertainment, but like there is a subset of culture who they're doing this and they're okay with it. And like, it was just interesting to me that like Stacey as the main character was like, yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm down. But she really
it's not her thing. It's not her thing at all.
It was not her thing. So it was just like a contrast.
Stacey can't even say, so I don't know why she.
Woo, bleep. Woo. Mama, turn it off. Next. Turn it off. Woo. It's getting spicy in here. But it's true. So that is the reason for the threesome. But yeah, I really like the internal monologue.
What got me was so Justin, like I said, they found the perfect guy to play him, because Justin is just geeky enough.
Yes.
Just goofy enough.
Yes.
Just street enough. Just hood enough. He's just enough.
When I tell you, he reminded me so much of a person that I know. I mean, very
because we all know it.
I
Justin
was like, oh, you remind me of somebody.
You know what? And what's so crazy is like, okay, because you get different perspectives, but there's two female perspectives and then the one male. Well, two male perspectives, but we'll get into that. Justin's really horny, okay? And Justin gonna say, let me say, Justin is trash. He's a trash dude. Like Justin gonna say whatever he needs to conquer what he needs to conquer. I feel like Justin only thought of the threesome so he could have his cake and eat it too.
But when I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on that, because when Justin said it, he said it kind of like in jest, like as a throwaway comment. But because Stacey's so insecure, she's like, okay, well, let's do it, because she doesn't want to lose Justin.
Don't worry about it. Look, next time we can just bring a relief pitcher in, sit her right over there, and then when it's time for some head, we just tag her in.
Oh, whatever.
I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
I am. Stop that.
He just suggested a threesome, didn't he?
She doesn't want to seem like the uncool girlfriend.
Well, I say that to say this, because see, Justin said it intentionally.
See, that's a man's brain, because in my brain, I'm like, he said it in jest.
No. He said it intentionally, and the indication is because the person that he wanted to include is someone he's already been with, right? That's how it went.
Right, but he was with her before he was with
Stacey, but
he wanted to bring her back.
But
because he knew she was down for that.
Yeah, the physicality of it, he still wanted that. So he was like, basically, Justin took a coward's way out, right? In a way where it's like he didn't want to hurt this. He didn't want to hurt Stacey, but he still wanted to enjoy himself because he didn't want to let Stacey go. Because everything else about Stacey is fine, you know. It doesn't go far into it in the film, but overall, she's a good girlfriend, right? She's not doing. She's not crazy.
See that part,
but
I got it now.
But he is way more freaky than she is.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to lose this relationship.
Right. He enjoys
that's
the relationship.
solid.
Yeah.
But
there's a part of him that's unfulfilled.
I'm gonna need you to step it up to the point that he even tells Lorraine, which is the third girl that eventually joins them. He tells her, Stacey's boring in bed.
That's because you got that fire.
Oh, so your girl don't got that fire.
There's levels to it.
What level am I?
The next one? That's for damn sure.
Well.
You know, I wish you could see this. Just so you could show her how to sing that.
Stacey whack.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
He did.
Now, before we get into why Lorraine says agreed to the whole thing, let me say this. The one thing I would say against the movie is I was watching the movie and I had so many times where I was like, of course, Lorraine has locks.
I know.
Right?
That was the number one for me. I was like, of course she has locks.
But of course Lorraine has locks. Because why does Lorraine have locks? Because of course she's into herbalism and
of course she teaches yoga twice a week.
Of course she teaches yoga, right? Of course she, probably is vegan. I don't know.
So I
no,
thought
they
that
ate
too,
salmon.
They ate salmon. And I was like, oh, she is salmon.
But maybe she's pescatarian. But of course, like everything about Lorraine, I was like, of course. Like at one point, when they're trying to like set the mood and stuff, Lorraine goes and sits down, and she's it's not even her house, and she lights an incense. I was like, of course Lorraine lights an incense, right?
It's true.
Oh, Lorraine believes in what do they call it?
Not sound healing.
What do they call it? Lorraine believes in science.
No, she doesn't. It's more like
holistic. Holistic. That's the word. Of course, Lorraine believes in holistic healing. Like I feel like she, takes her sea moss and her turmeric.
Yes.
All the time.
I mean, relatable.
But she checked all the boxes. But I say that to say, of course, Lorraine has been in. Is it polyamorous?
Yes.
There's different words.
Yeah.
Poly.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm just going to use poly.
Yes.
Of course, Lorraine has been in a poly relationship,
Correct.
which sets Lorraine up to be the character that is most familiar with the idea of a threesome.
Yeah.
I'll let you take over and kind of introduce Lorraine a little bit, and then we'll talk about why she said yes to the threesome. So tell us about Lorraine's character.
Yeah. So Lorraine is all the things that T just mentioned. Of course. She's very much a stereotype, which is intentional. It's clear that's intentional. That they were trying
now,
to
I will
that.
say this. That's my only knock against the movie.
No, I liked Lorraine. It was.
But the stereotype wasn't like beat into your head.
No.
But it was one of those things when I watch something, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so Lorraine. Character was written that way for a reason.
Yeah.
Very, very much a stereotype. But in a funny way, like in a good way. I don't think it was.
Yeah, and that's like I said, even though it's my mark against the movie, they don't beat you over the head with a stereotype.
Yeah.
It's just when I watch stuff, I kind of see stuff. So I was like, when I saw her, I was like, I bet she's.
Yeah.
And then she was all the things
she
that I
was all the things.
bet.
Like I said, the one thing for me that stood out, I was like, oh, you eating salmon? Which, sidebar, I was like confused by that because I was like, why are y'all eating salmon before y'all about to do the do? But then I was like, oh, because niggas love to cook salmon. That's like the thing. Like, oh, I could.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that. So there's a scene where we find out, because again we're going in and out of these we're going in between each character's point of view. Well, it turns out we'll go back to Lorraine in a second, but Justin was, once he got the yes that threesome was going to happen, Justin prepared for it, and he was like, oh well, first of all he took advice from a drug dealer.
It was also his homie though.
This is homie, but
his homie.
And his homie is another person actually who was into the poly lifestyle. Correct. Actually, they kind of skated across it, but he was too.
Correct.
And his friend was like, "Oh, it's not even about the sexual part. It's about the intimacy and leading.
He said treat it like a dinner party.
Yeah,
yeah.
Justin took that serious, and Justin went and he found a tutorial for how to make like a salmon recipe. But the tutorial was another video that production shot to put in to it, and that little bit was hilarious to me.
You gotta take it, you gotta slam it down. It's called slamming salmon. Now you get 2 good tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. Okay.
You gotta see the real. Be no punk bitch. It's the real deal right here. Slamming salmon. You can't be no punk cooking no slamming salmon. Plenty of oregano.
Oregano.
So she was like, doing the recipe. She's like, yeah, you got to season it up. Look.
Oh my God, the timing.
She's like, you got to season it up.
The timing.
You got to, and she's just like winging it on the video. So, but he's trying to follow along like it wasn't that kind of tutorial, but it was a little bit that was hilarious. Since you mentioned
that was great.
And whoever that lady was,
that was great.
She was awesome.
Funny enough, when I was watching that the first time, I was like, "Is this a real?" Like I thought it was like a pulled from like a YouTube video or something like that. No, it's something
they shot.
Yeah. Then when I watched it again,
movie.
I was like, "Oh, they shot that for this." But it was perfect.
Yeah, so Justin, he planned it all out. But go back to Lorraine. So
Lorraine, Miss Lorraine, first of all, gorgeous. Like God.
Yeah,
my
definitely.
God. Like if. It was funny because watching this as a woman, like I was like, I think I'm more identified with the Stacey character. I think I'd be a little like very timid and very confused by the whole thing and very like, I don't know about this. And then when I saw Lorraine, I was like, oh shit, like she's baddie. She's a baddie. So like now, Stacey girl, how you gonna handle this? Because your man is gonna be feeling her. And like what I liked about Stacey, she wasn't a hater. She recognized that Lorraine was very beautiful. She recognized her confidence and the things that she was bringing to the table. We'll get to it, but I appreciate that about Stacey. So Miss Lorraine, she knows Justin from high school. Apparently, she was not the cool girl in high school. She was the girl that the guys did not talk to. Which, thank you. Hi. She was not the cool girl in high school. She was the girl that the guys didn't like or didn't want to date. Maybe she was like the home girl.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got. So then I found that interesting.
The vibe I got was that she was always like, they wouldn't approach her because she was so dope. That's what I thought.
Was or was not?
Was.
See, I got the sense that she was like, she didn't know she was dope until she got grown.
Yeah, she probably didn't know it, but
she came into
but
her.
They didn't. That's what I thought.
No.
Oh, well.
I know a lot.
Okay.
I got this one. That was a girl who did not know she was sexy. She did not know she was dope. She didn't know her own power. Mm-hmm. She probably hadn't stepped into her femininity yet. And so other people couldn't see it because she hadn't stepped into it. But I feel like once she had started to step into that, she became the type of woman that like when she walks into a room, people stop. And there's another character through the end of the story who kind of mentions that about her. So she has this presence. She has very much an essence. She's one of those girls who I think either love her or you hate her from a woman's perspective. Either you hate her because you're hating on her because she's such a baddie, or you're like, I love this girl because she just exudes this presence that you can't hate on it unless you're a hater. So Lorraine is very that. She's very that. She's very, like we said, she does like sound baths and Reiki and all the things, and she's very confident, but she has had a long-term crush on Justin, which we do find out.
Yeah. So she already knows Justin.
Mm-hmm. From high school.
She knows him from high school. She has such a crush on Justin. They were doing like a writing class or something, and she remembered like a poem that he had written so many years ago.
In a love or a symbol of lies, I gave my love a beautiful blood red rose. Then all the petals began to wither and die. Now I have many, many red roses as I search for a love refusing to lie. Would you like a beautiful blood red rose before all the petals wither and die?
That was strange, and that was a red flag.
That was a red flag for me too, because I was like, but it basically, when that started to come out, when we finally get to Lorraine's, point of view, I was like, this movie is doper than it knows that it is. It could, depending on what point of view you tell it from, it's 3 different movies.
Hey, what's up, everybody? TeaRon here, and I hope you are enjoying this review. I want to give this movie its full just due, so there will be a part 2. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking if you've seen the movie. And next week, join me and Tiera Janee back for part 2 of the review of 3 Ways.